Hello. Welcome to my channel. This is Rosie Rosette 2020. Yes, it is like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on 6/13/2020, and of course, I'm in my beautiful garage, which I've converted to my studio at this time of the night because there is no one here, okay? And I can speak as loud as I want to. I won't disturb people. There may be a couple of cars that come. I did have a neighbor who, before 2 videos before this one, we talked for an hour. But normally, especially during quarantine, I have my shine. Okay, lovely background. The acoustics are very well. Anyway, let's jump into it. So I keep hearing about how a couple of years ago, sometime, Dave Chappelle had to check a white woman during one of her comedy acts. She said something about life is hard, get on with it, or get used to it, or whatever. And then I hear some of Trump's representatives talk about, there's no racism, or there's no, you know, systematic racism or institutionalized racism or something like that. Then I hear Lil Wayne. Oh, there's no racism because, a white cop saved me or saved my life. He grew up in New Orleans, in the South. And then seeing all these Karens, I think this one particular Karen appeared in 2 videos in the same week, shouting out, some racial discrimination against an Asian girl. An Asian girl was exercising. Another time, I don't know what the other time is. And then we have, what's Karen Cooper? Katie Cooper? But calling the police because her dog didn't have a leash, okay? And then, of course, we have Breonna Taylor, who was shot in her own apartment, and they had the wrong, apartment. There's a plethora. And then we have, Ahmaud Arbery, killed like wild game or something. And then, we have a plethora of others, but let's bring it home. And so, we have George Floyd, who was killed by his co-worker, murdered, premeditated murder. Okay? I'm just going to first degree murder, premeditated. You guys need to change the charges. Anyway, so, I have a son, right? Yeah. I have a son, and I'm nervous every time. I said this in other videos. I'm nervous every time he walks out. I want to see what he's wearing, just in case something happens, whatever, and, something happens. While he's driving, while he's walking, while he's working, while he's shopping. I, as a black woman, a mother of a black male, adult male in America, I have to worry about that. I had to teach him, as many black, not all, many black mothers do, black fathers, this is what you do when you get pulled over. Not if, but when. You see? I don't think white people have that anxiety. You see, I think all people, and that's another thing with the reparations, we all need therapy. Because I think not all black people, but there are a lot, especially black men, who should be diagnosed under PTSD. Dangerous while being black, or threatened by being black. Just by being black. That's it. That's it. You don't have to have a record. You don't have to have education. You don't have to have, strength, height, weight, whatever. Just the fact that you're black. That's all that matters, for a cop to say that he felt threatened and to kill our men and women for no simple reason at all, and not even get a slap on the hand for it. No. Mm-mm. See, I don't think that white people have to train their kids to say, this is what might happen to you. This could happen when you get pulled over. Because I can guarantee you, as a black male, you will get pulled over. No, I don't think you guys have those type of conversations. That embedded stress that I go through every time my son steps out of the door, every time he's not in at a certain time, I have to worry. I have to stress out, is he okay? I text him, I call him, is everything okay? See, do white people have that same stress? I mean, as a mother, you always wonder and care about your children. I get that, okay? I get that. I worry about other people's kids. But I'm talking about that embedded stress when you see someone, on TV getting killed, being murdered, being shot. Not in person, but on TV. And your black son is not at home. What do you think? What do you think? See, let me give you an example. I don't think that Rob Kardashian, who is not white, they're Armenian, and I don't know if they're considered white. I don't know. But I don't know if Kris Jenner had that conversation with him, or if who was Robert Sr. Kardashian. I don't know if he had that son with his son Robert Jr. But Kim has 2 black sons, and you see what she's doing. She's working under Van right now, so that in the future, possibly, there may be some type of change. Kanye West, he claimed that he faked it, to get in with Trump, so that Kim could possibly, get some people out. You got to do what you got to do. I don't knock their hustle. So when that lady told Dave Chappelle, such is life, or, that's life, get on with it, you really gotta think to yourself, they really don't get it. They really don't get it. They don't get how or why we're such an uproar as a people, as a culture, as a community. When Trump was in a bunker because of the protests, but yet he wants to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma on Juneteenth. Tulsa, Oklahoma is where they had the Black Wall Street. I don't think you guys really understand the perplexity of it all. Now, I understand that you guys are protesting. I get that. I get that. But for a woman to say, such is life, or, move on with it. So she doesn't understand, like he told her, Emmett Till, the guy who got, I think, was he burnt alive or something like that? With his eyes were poked out for whistling at liquor. The plethora of slaves that were hung for picnics. All of the injustices done to black people. I heard that black babies were fed to alligators, that women were made to have sex with their sons, that the fathers were getting raped by slave masters. We were not able to read. We were not, educated. We didn't have um, proper food, proper nutrition. We didn't have shoes. Our language was taken away. Our spirits, our religion was taken away. Everything was washed. Everything was washed. And we were here to pick cotton. And then, the slave masters raped the women. And maybe that's why my skin is so light. On both sides, my mother and my father's side. So when the Karens call the police, or they say to the comedians, they call the police on, a black man because they're not the leash, or they call the police on a little girl selling water, or they call the police on at Lake Merritt in Oakland because people were having a picnic. So what? So what? No, that's not so what. When, you know, Colin Kaepernick kneed 4 years ago, but yet it takes you guys 4 years and a murder, a premeditated murder on TV for you guys to get it? Like, what is it that you guys don't understand? Oh, history, redlining, you know, putting, blacks in projects, taking away their education, giving, ugh, impacting their community with cocaine and drugs. Sending soldiers out to fight for the country, and then when they come home, they're treated like third-class citizens. Still, even when my son was in high school, the white and Asian kids, you know, went to universities. Now, I made sure that, my son got into a university, but what about, I talked to a Latino or a Mexican girl, and I was like, okay, so what college are you going to go to? And she was like, well, I'm just gonna, I'm not going to college. I think she said she was going to community college. I was like, do you realize how many scholarships there are for, the Mexican heritage? Kids of your background. But they made sure that all the white and the Asian kids, I went to the parent teachers meetings, or not the college introductory or something like that, the meetings. I was the only black. Well, there wasn't that many blacks in this class, but still. Mm-mm. No. No. See, I went to high school with filthy rich girls who, like I said, I've said this on many videos, that went to, Europe and stuff. I mean, these women have money. And, I was schooled to take the SAT to get in. And I got into a good university. I did. I didn't like it, but yeah, I did. But at that university, there's not, to this day, there's not a lot of black people. And hopefully they'll bring back affirmative action, but I don't know. But it's far more than affirmative action on these colleges, because once you get to college, we don't have trust funds. My mom did, or my father, they didn't have a bank account for me. That when I had my dorm room, I didn't have anything. I didn't have a blanket, a comforter, nothing. I had to buy that with my own funds. They didn't know anything about that. No one came with me. I think they dropped me off and that's it. They left. Health care, prenatal care, housing, education, jobs. See, and I'm not saying how can I put this? I'm not saying that all white people. I'm not saying that all white people have a trust fund, or a 401k for a college. I forgot the 25. Is it not 401k? They have money set aside for the college. I'm not saying that because People of all races have to struggle, especially in Santa Clara. It's very expensive. What I'm saying is this: there is a white privilege, and that privilege allows you to live a certain life that as a black person, we don't have that peace. I'm not even going to touch on the opportunities, although I've mentioned them, but it's about peace when your child goes out. And I'm not talking about drugs. Lots of kids are on drugs. A lot of them do meth and crystal and crack and blah, 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 blah. Okay, maybe you might have those type of worries. But I'm talking about how a black man has to fear for his life when he's stopped by a police officer. I'm not fearful. I'm not. You know. And what I should do, because I was riding dirty with tags, whatever. And actually, I said this in another video. A cop stopped me, and that was the second time cop stopping me, and he was like, "Okay, so when are you getting your tags?" I said, "When I get some money. That's when I'll get my tags." He's like, "Ma'am, you're gonna have to get them." And another cop the other day, I was having problems with my battery, and he pushed it. This is a cop in Cupertino, where Apple is. We were right down the street from Wolf Road, where Apple is, getting on the 280. He pushed my car. He pushed my car around the corner. So, I'm not fearful of cops. I speak to cops at least once a week. I'll say at least once a month. I'll say 10 times a year. Let's put it like that. I don't have that type of fear, but I basically don't fear anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really a good thing. But as a man, I have to put that fear inside of my son. Listen, you cannot make a wrong move when you get stopped by the cops. If they ask you something, you be very respectful, because they will kill you. They will kill you, as they did George Floyd, as they've done a plethora of black men. So, lady, when you tell them, when you tell a black man, I don't care if it's Dave Chappelle or a bum on the street, it's life, move on with it. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? How dare you? That's why they're protesting. That's why they're marching. Because of comments and attitudes like that nonchalant, you know what? Get over it. No, we're not getting over it. It's been 400 years, and we're still, Juneteenth is coming up in a couple of days. 400 years, and we're still going through the same shit that we went through 400 years ago. It's 2020, and we're still marching. We're still protesting. You guys are still killing. These cops are still killing black men like they're game. We're not game. We're human beings. We're citizens of the United States. We fucking built this country. So how dare you say something like that to any black person? Actually, to any human being. You don't do that because of our history, but you should know this. But maybe they don't teach it. Just like a lot of people in Oklahoma, they don't know what happened about Black Wall Street, which my great-grandfather had 2 or 3 businesses during that time. Yes, my great-grandfather, he did. Lavasser. Look it up. See, it's just ignorance. And I don't even know if it's ignorance or if it's entitlement. And I don't know where he was when that happened. But I can tell you, people on the West, from New York, white people from New York, they're a different type of breed. And I don't know if it's the culture, because here in California, especially where I am in Silicon Valley, if there is racial tension, people are still respectable. Like, I've never been called the N-word. Actually, I've probably called some people the N-word more than never. And God forbid if I ever did. But you know what? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. They may irritate me, but they won't hurt me. You see what I'm saying? No, you guys, this, this has to stop. This has to stop. Now, I'm not saying that everyone, says something, racially discriminatory, whatever. I would lie and say, no, I've never said that, or, something like that. But you don't say it. You really shouldn't say it, but you really don't say it to someone on a political or, entertainment stage like that. You don't do that. You don't do that. You may think that, but you don't do that. You don't do that. But I don't understand why this was a grown woman. This wasn't a child. But it's that entitlement, that white privilege that you guys don't do that, but you guys still don't understand. And I don't know what will it take. Because, okay, yeah, we're marching now. Well, I haven't marched. They're protesting now. I have protested. Not in person. But, okay, what's going to happen when this dies down? Is it going to go back to normal? That's what I'm worried about. So you guys go ahead and protest, whatever. So when it goes back to normal, then I'll kick it back up. I'll kick up my protest. All right? Be a little more politically correct in your screams, your calls, your scares, your that I feel threatened. Well, I feel threatened too. You guys feel threatened. What about us? We've had 400 years of being killed and slaughtered and, enslaved and, discriminated against, whatever. We have 400 years. So who should actually feel threatened? We feel threatened every day. Every day. As a matter of fact, we need to have a class action lawsuit against America because of the mental anguish that we go through. Maybe that's why we don't live as long as other people. It's not. I don't think it's our diet. It's the stress on the job, on the street, in the grocery store, in the schools, in our apartment houses, at the mechanics, in the colleges, at the dentists, at the doctors. Why are there so many black people who have succumbed to the coronavirus? Why? Why? No, you guys need to, I don't even know what to say. Because we protest, we marched, we sued. What else do we need to do to make you guys understand? But you guys are intelligent, some of you guys. It's not like you guys don't read. Hell, when I took a Black History class, most of the people who had most of the books that were written about Black history, not most of them, a nice majority of them were written by white people. So it's not like you guys don't know. I'm sure that you guys, have stories that were handed down just like we do. So what is it? Why would a grown woman say something so ignorant? That's just ignorant. She's ignorant to the fact of others, of their feelings, of their history, of their PTSD. Because we gotta face this shit every day. Y'all can go home. When you get pulled over by the cops, you have to fear for your life. That's a big issue in life. The fear of getting pulled over and killed by a cop, a person who is paid to protect. Who are they protecting? Because they're killing a lot of black men. Now, I don't have the stats, but I think the next video I make on this subject, I'm going to have some numbers. Let's kick the ballistics and let's get some numbers down, okay? I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to sleep. Taking this wig off and this makeup.